And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, August 6th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Tuesday morning, a little bit cloudy, but sun's going to shine today, 90 degrees maybe, and going to be a terrific Tuesday. We're ready to go here this morning, and I've got to say it a little bit different. We are on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope has joined us again this morning. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And I believe your title is pretty much the same, Director of Community Relations, but now it's for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
That's right. It's so nice to hear as well.
As of August the 1st, I believe.
Correct, yes.
And let me introduce the president, Jay Hinesley, who is with us this morning as well. Now, Jay, I would have introduced you first, but it's kind of ladies first.
I'm very offended.
I have seen you enough to know that you have somewhat of a sense of humor, and it probably goes well for the president of a hospital.
I like to think so. It keeps the day interesting.
Well, we do have a lot to talk about this morning. We are all excited. We've been excited ever since we heard this, I think, that change was coming. And sometimes change is, you wonder about it, but I hadn't heard any negativity really about this change that has now taken place. And so we want to talk some about that this morning. We are excited about the completion of this acquisition. And as of August 1st, hospital is known as Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. So what does this mean for Wilson County?
Well, I think that's got a pretty good ring to it, don't you? Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We're excited about that. Let me start in back last week in August. We had teams and teams of people ready to transition this hospital over to the Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital and into the Vanderbilt Health System. And I just want to say how proud I am of all the teams and all the folks that put that together, because it was an enormous amount of work, an absolutely enormous amount of work to prepare and get ready. And then we had teams of people there all night to make sure that everything went smoothly. And so everything went without a hitch, and we converted over on August 1st. And I couldn't be more proud than all the folks.
What kind of feedback have you gotten as the word has come out? Some of this may be leaked out a little bit for the official announcement, but has it been pretty positive?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. I think that people recognize that the quality of care that Vanderbilt Health delivers is really second to none in most cases, and the types of investment and the types of services that we plan to deliver here in Wilson County really just add that much value to our community.
Well, they haven't changed presidents.
Thank goodness.
Tracy is still here.
That's right.
My Tuesday hasn't changed much so far, just the name. And can we pretty much expect that to continue?
Yes. All of our employees made the transition, which was very important as far as Vanderbilt was concerned, to make sure that we maintain the culture of our hospital and the culture of our community. But what Vanderbilt is bringing to us are a wealth of knowledge and expertise and services that we don't currently provide. And I think you're going to see a lot of changes over the next year as we start to develop our hospital into the Vanderbilt Health System.
Well, I understand they're planning to invest a sizable amount of money, I guess, for improvements as they take over different things they're going to be doing and implementing.
We've allotted about $15 million in capital expenditures to invest into the facility, whether that's in new services like radiation oncology or into infrastructure to equipment. And we're evaluating all of our needs and wants and desires right now so that we can start to move forward.
Well, now understand that this is the first hospital Vanderbilt has purchased, making Wilson County Hospital the fourth in the Vanderbilt Health System. But why Wilson County?
Well, that's correct. We are the first hospital they've ever purchased. And I think that Vanderbilt recognized that our community is strong, it is growing. If you look at any of the statistics about communities in Tennessee, we're the place to be right now. And so they recognized that they wanted to put their stamp on our county and fill the void for services that we may have out here.
Well, now, it's my understanding that over the years, the hospital here has drawn people from adjoining counties, maybe especially to the north and the east. Would that factor into that, maybe, the acquisition here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when looking at Wilson County, they recognized that they could really change the game here.
Well, what you mentioned a little bit, but let's talk about what this Vanderbilt health system does include, because there are going to be more services offered, and I think part of that was a reason that people would be happy here that some services that you maybe had to go to Nashville to get will now be available right here in Lebanon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at the Vanderbilt health system, they've got the Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital downtown. They've got the adult hospital. They have a psychiatric hospital, and now they've added an acute care facility in Wilson County. And what we plan to do is to look at the services that Vanderbilt has downtown and how do we integrate those into our services. All the physicians in our community that have been supporting our hospital for the last 25 and 30 years, they're all going to work with us to help develop those services. And where we can add value with the Vanderbilt health system, we're going to plug that in to our facility. So over the next weeks, months, and years, we'll find each of those services downtown that we can add value to our hospital, and we'll start to plug them in. A perfect example is our nursery is now covered by the Monroe Carroll pediatric physicians. So the pediatricians from downtown are covering our nursery. So if you deliver a baby at our facility, your baby's going to receive care from the pediatricians from Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
Well, just out of curiosity, I'm wondering how much interaction there might be with physicians who pretty much are situated at Vanderbilt. I mean, would they come to Lebanon on occasion, or
in some cases, that'll be true. We're still identifying those specialties and the ones that make the most sense, and we'll kind of work through that process over the next 100 days, if you will. But there are absolutely services that we'll be providing that are directly from Vanderbilt Medical Center.
Well, let me ask Tracy a question here. I mean, you're kind of right in the middle of all of this, and in a situation like this, you know ahead of time, but you wait for the news release and all of this. What's this been like for you, knowing it was coming and something to look forward to, but you can't talk too much about it? And I'd just like to sort of, for a minute here, pick your brain about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all, as employees of the hospital, have just been anxiously waiting for that moment where we are officially Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We all are just very excited of what Vanderbilt can do for this town and this county. And at the same time, we're nervous as to, where we're going and where we're going to be soon, because it's so exciting. Like Jay said, we're going to raise that level of acuity of care. I think we're going to, build out our additional rooms at the hospital that are currently not functioning, and that will mean more jobs for our hospital. So, it's very exciting times. Just in my world, we've just kind of been on a pause until it's official. So like Jay said, in the next 100 days or so, we get to actually plan and strategize. So we will see what partners in the community that we can be that we weren't able to be before, and where this will take us.
And I'm sitting here thinking, the first was last Thursday, so it's less than a week.
That's right.
that the change has taken place. But here you're already talking about maybe a $15 million investment. Do you have any idea, anything you can tell us what that $15 million might entail?
Yeah, I think that as we look through our equipment, we've got some needs. We'd like to update our MRI. I think very soon you'll see us replace our MRI. There are some facility needs throughout the hospital that we'll invest in to make sure that we've got some, what I'd call some areas that probably need some paint. The parking lot probably needs to be redone. There are areas like that we'd like to start with first, but
that's sort of some cosmetic.
That's cosmetic stuff. Yeah. If you look at the OR, we're putting together a list of items where we can improve the equipment in our OR. Where we can add additional services in the OR. We're working to invest in different equipment so that we can add services in the OR as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're all waiting for the shoe to drop, for it all to happen. How soon will changes start, or have they already really?
Well, right now, so we had to get through the transition. Yeah. August 1st, we spent the last 4 months working towards what we call the cutover. And the cutover happened on August 1st. Now we've got to focus on how do we operate a hospital under Vanderbilt Health, and what does that mean? And so for the next 100 days, that's what we're focused on, is how do we operate and what are the things that we need to invest in and how do we take it past 100 days. And so that's where we've been. We've been planning for the transition. We've transitioned now, and now we've got to figure out what it looks like and how do we make the best of it, and how do we do absolutely everything we can to integrate into the Vanderbilt health system.
Do you anticipate, especially with the doctors, any of them wanting to leave because of the change here, or are they pretty much excited about the opportunity?
No, we've worked very closely with the medical staff of the hospital to make sure that we do this in a way that incorporates them into the plans that we're developing. We could not operate a hospital without our physicians. They're arguably the most important part of our hospital, and so we're grateful for all the service and all the things that they've done for us, and we want to make sure that they continue to be there and be successful and grow with us.
But at the same time, it's like any organization. No one group of people can do it all. You got to have the whole team, and I'm sure you're working in that regard.
Absolutely. In fact, we're working with our physicians and all of our medical staff to understand where our needs are, what needs do they have, and what things would they like to see us change.
All right, it's time for us to take a break. We are on the air, as we are each Tuesday. Now, it's Vanderbilt, Wilson County Hospital. Jay Hinckley, President's with us. Tracy Pope is here, too, who is Director of Community Relations. We'll take a break, and more coming up on Coleman & Company, FM 98.
And it's now 7:13. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. We want to thank our friends at Bates Ford and the regular oil change, $28.95. That includes up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. It's trying to improve a little bit through here now as they pulled off of that 18-wheeler that crashed earlier on 40 westbound here in Lebanon, out in Wilson County, up by the Harpin exit again westbound. Hopefully it'll start to move a little bit better here in the next few minutes. It's just busy, we would expect out here. 40 westbound coming past the airport here through Hermitage, Donaldson, 3100 block at Lebanon Pike. That's a minor accident. If you're moving soon, call Smashville Moving Company, 584-4954. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
It's a new day at Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation. Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation has experienced new leadership, a new atmosphere at the same location in the heart of Lebanon. Located at 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus, Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. It's a new day at Lebanon Health Care and Rehabilitation.
It's all about taking care of you, and THW Insurance will do just that. Are you looking for home or auto insurance? THW represents Westfield Insurance and other fine companies. Together, we will protect you and your family. Call Jeff Lee at 615-547-5646 or stop in and see him at the Wilson Bank and Trust main office.
Coleman & Company here on a Tuesday morning. We are on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. I guess now we say formerly Zenobia Healthcare Lebanon and formerly UFC. Jay Hinckley, President, is with us. Tracy Pope is here. This again is an exciting time. I was asking you how your wife has been lately, and you've been away from home a lot.
I hope she's listening. I want to apologize to my wife because it's been a pretty busy couple of weeks, and I think she's listening this morning. So I'm sorry, Catherine. It's been a busy couple of weeks.
Well, we'll digress on one other thing, Tracy. When I think you were here the last time, and the Lebanon Dixie Youth Baseball was state champions and needing a little publicity and a little help to get to the tournament that they just went to. And, of course, they had some fairly close games, but they lost 2, and I guess they're on the way home now.
They are. And, Coleman, I'm definitely not the spokesman for Lebanon Youth Baseball, but it is a huge part of my husband's life. And I know that they're very proud of the 12-year-olds that represented Tennessee, and they went down and represented us well and played 2 games, and I'm sure had a wonderful experience. But I think they came home yesterday, and now their kids can get into school like the rest of us.
Yeah,
so
right. Well, it was really nice to have 3 of those young men out here, and They said they got to 3 they thought would talk the most, and we had a good time. Well, anyway, back to the hospital. Of course, the change officially took place last Thursday, which was August the 1st, and it's now Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. I think when I passed by the other day, I noticed some signs being painted. You've got the verbiage up right now.
We did. I think that started on Wednesday, the day before the official cutover. So Wednesday into Wednesday evening, we started carefully taking down some of the signs, and then carefully putting up temporary signs for most of the hospital, and permanent signs will be going up over the next couple months.
When you make a change like this, just a name change, you think of all the stationery, all the letterheads, all of that. All of a sudden, it goes from one to another. Now, I don't know who does all that, but that in itself is a big change.
Well, you can ask Tracy, because I think she had to take an inventory of every single item that we had that had a green Tenova sign on it, and I don't think she's finished yet, because she's still searching.
It was a lot, but we are so blessed that Vanderbilt acquired our hospital, and we had the team at Vanderbilt, and I worked with many people just helping identify those needs that needed to happen for day one, and changing our signs was one of the needs. But we, like Jay said, there have been many people in the sidelines in the background that have helped this process. I heard Dr. Pinson say there were 3,500 bullet points of items to take care of, and he also mentioned it's like buying a house times a million. So, Jay, I know, was there overnight with a lot of people that worked through the night that normally don't work through the night, just changing over patients from one hospital entity to the next, and just making sure that we had the highest quality care of patient safety there could be. And, we want to share this news with our community. So we're planning a few events, and we're hoping to celebrate with everyone soon. But, we just were focused on patient safety and patient care initially. And then second, our employees. We're onboarding and orienting all of our employees. Vanderbilt HR has welcomed us into the Vanderbilt family, and it's just been, just magnificent at the hospital. It really has.
Well, there's quite a name and quite a reputation, really, for Vanderbilt over the years. I think in the health community they have an excellent name, and now that name is right here on our hospital in Lebanon.
Yeah, we're very proud to be a part of it. The Vanderbilt University health system really is on the bleeding edge of research in a lot of areas, and they are pushing the envelope when it comes to care delivery, and to be a part of that is really, really exciting. So we can't wait.
Let's talk a little bit more, Jay Hunsley, about the strategic plan for year one. You alluded to that some earlier. I think there might be another thing or two we could talk about here this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we mentioned we're going to be investing in new services. One of the things that we're working with Vanderbilt now that we are working on a timeline now, but is how do we work with Vanderbilt to provide Vanderbilt neurology within the hospital. And we have a teleneurology service now, and if we can work with Vanderbilt to provide neurology in the hospital, that's what we plan to do. And probably within the next 60 days, we'll be able to accomplish that. I mentioned pediatrics, and so we're going to have Vanderbilt Pediatrics will be staffing our nursery, and I think that's very exciting for us. And really, just as we kind of continue to look through service by service, what can we do to sort of bolster that service in a way that includes Vanderbilt providers and Vanderbilt quality into that service?
Well, I don't know how much this might have been done in the past, but drawing on the knowledge, experience, and so on that's there in particular cases, your doctors comparing notes, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Just last week we had a meeting with one of the physicians from downtown came out and spoke with myself and a couple physicians at the hospital about how do we collaborate on things to make sure that we're giving the best possible care to our patients. And if a physician needs a resource or has a question or feels like they need a backup or somebody else to lean on, we're connecting all those dots now. And previously they'd have to call a number and get on hold and wait and all that sort of thing. But now because we're part of the family, we're connecting people so that they can call that person directly and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or how should I do this? Or I've got a patient that looks like this. And it's really neat for our physicians to be able to do that. They've always had resources, but this just takes it to one more layer.
Right, at least a level or two higher here.
Yep.
Yeah. And on the physical things here, you mentioned too. There's maybe a parking lot needs repaving or some paint in a room or whatever. But you've got some more plans, I think.
Absolutely, we have a few spaces in the hospital that haven't been used in some time, and so over the next year, 2 years, we plan to renovate those spaces and bring them back up to today's standard, so that we have additional rooms, additional capacity, so that we can be prepared to keep people if they choose not to drive downtown, and we would ask them to stay in our community and see what we have going on.
Well, I'm gonna give you a sales opportunity here now. I'm being facetious a little bit, but now, why choose Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital?
Well, first of all, who would want to get in that traffic to drive downtown into downtown Nashville? I have to go down there for a few meetings every now and then now, and I can tell you that it is not very fun to get in traffic to drive downtown. In fact, just last week I was driving down there, and I got lost on the campus, and I knew where I was going. So we hope that people will recognize that as we move the Vanderbilt Health System services out to Wilson County, they won't have to drive downtown. You'll be able to receive Vanderbilt quality of care in Wilson County and not get stuck in traffic, and be able to be taken care of by your neighbors and your friends and your relatives who live and work in this community.
Well, people who have doctor's appointments, who are really sick, but not sick enough to be hospitalized. But you've got to either go for treatment, go see your doctor, this sort of thing. A trip to Nashville with all the traffic, parking can be a problem, I guess. All of that can pretty much wear you out. This is going to help alleviate that.
Absolutely. It'll be some time before we're able to bring some of those outpatient services and clinics out this way. But absolutely, over time, I think you're going to see it's much more convenient.
Well, right, and we can't expect all of the change to happen overnight. I mean, and it's going to probably take more than a year, but a lot of change in the next year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Take emergency services, for instance. We're collaborating with Vanderbilt Health on how we can work together as an emergency room with their emergency room. They're a level 1 trauma center. What can we do to elevate our emergency room so that people can have confidence when they come to see us? And those meetings are happening, and those conversations are happening, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're a conduit, between the two hospitals, so that if you need care for Wilson County, you can stay in Wilson County. If you need to get to Vanderbilt quickly, we can get you down to a level 1 trauma center very quickly.
Well, another thing, the local hospital here, whether it was UMC or Tenova or now Vanderbilt, has been a big player in the community, and especially partnering with the Wilson County Fair. Will that continue?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, man, I'm so excited the fair's coming up. Trace and I met with Mr. Clemens here recently and have been planning this thing since the end of the last year. And we have a pretty large presence at the fair. We operate a couple first aid stations, and we work with WEMA to make sure that they're fully staffed, and we collaborate with them to make sure that we've got the resources necessary to take care of folks if they have an injury or they end up getting hurt while at the fair, which hopefully not doesn't happen to anybody. But we have a tremendous amount of planning that goes into that. We've collaborated with our new friends from downtown, and they'll be coming out to help us staff. And so the fair's a big part of what we do every year.
You also have a booth out there, at least one. I think you've even given people, I think that's the one where people played cornhole.
That's right.
Yes,
right. We're going to need a new cornhole board.
New games,
yeah.
though. Yeah, we're planning on having a few new games this
Might need
year.
a few coats of paint.
But you're still going to as far as be a player in the community as the hospital has been, maybe even more so.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a fair statement. We, we're known for our tent. Tenova has a big tent, and we have used that tent all over this community, and so this year that tent won't be there. But I'm understanding we're going to have
that was one of the first items to check off is getting us a tent because the fair was coming up. So that's in the planning phases. So we plan to have a brand new Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital tent, and we're just excited. We partner with WEMA and we staff 3 first aid stations. It takes more than 60 people or 60 shifts for the hospital to support the Wilson County Fair during all 10 days, and it's a big go. We expect a lot of our directors and our staff, and they know it, but they have fun, and it's just a little something that we can help do and support our community.
Well, I'm glad that we've been able to have this conversation here, and really this quickly after August the 1st, but just sitting here listening to you and trying to think about the different things you've had to do and a lot of the change that's had to be made that average person probably wouldn't think of. But from your sign out front to all I guess everything on your computers. I mean, it's when you're talking about just a name change.
It's a huge task, Coleman. It's a huge task. I think just changing over the supply system to purchase supplies. You can imagine the amount of processes we have in place to make sure that we have the right amount of supplies in the right location at the right time. And that changing that system over was not an easy task. But we did it without a hitch. We had all the stuff that we need. We were able to reorder everything that we need, and the patients never even noticed because we had all the teams and checks and balances in place.
Well,
to make
I'll
sure
bet you it was one thing we can say for sure. You're glad August 1st is coming.
I am very glad that we got through that. Yeah, that was we were prepared, but I'm absolutely thrilled that part is behind us and that we can move on.
Talking to someone at the hospital, we joked, we're like, this is kind of like Y2K. We don't know what's going to happen. We hope it's going to go through, so we've kind of laughed.
Well, you both have survived and are able to come out here and talk about it this morning. Thank you so much. We are out of time, but we'll look forward to continuing to do this, have a medical professional here twice a month and talk about you when you're not here and it'll in the future. And as of today, it is Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Jay, thanks so much for being with us. Jay Hinesley, President, Hope, Community Relations. We thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's part 1 of Coleman & Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And at 7:29, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota and Rental. Land Pride, quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. THB remains on the scene of this earlier crash out here. Traffic's really been a mess in Wilson County this morning on 40 westbound at the Hartman exit. It was involving a truck. It lost some fuel as well. They had to clean that up. Other wrecks out here include 40 westbound. It's going to be right near Fessler's. They're trying to move that one quickly because that traffic is so heavy now coming in through Hermitage Donaldson on 40 westbound passing the airport. Princess Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken. Check it out, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
A good Tuesday morning to you. Keep those sunglasses handy. Mainly sunny skies are in the forecast for much of your Tuesday, and it will be warm out there again today. Highs will top out in the lower 90s. We'll see a few more clouds push in as we head into this evening. I can't rule out a few scattered storms through the overnight. Lows will bottom out in the lower 70s. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman Company here on this Tuesday. Welcome to the second half part two. We call it Side Senior Living, and Sean Dozier's here to do it all this morning. Good morning.
As always, good morning.
You want me to apologize to you on the air this morning?
Yes, please.
I credited you with starting the Hearthside Hello, which we do at the end of your commercial time. Right. And then I was, you said I
tried to tell you, but you wouldn't.
I wouldn't listen to you. But afterwards, MJ and Billy let me know in no uncertain terms. No, it was Brian.
Yeah, Brian actually started the Hearthside Hello, which I tried to tell you, but you insisted that I take credit for it, so I did. But yeah, anyway, Brian started that and did a great job with that, and I'm continuing that tradition.
Sean Dozier is Executive Director of Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, and comes here each Tuesday to talk about it. And we kind of keep up with you and Hearthside with your appearance here each Tuesday.
Well, it's always great to be here. Always great to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. It really is. I heard the commercial a minute ago. It really is a unique community right in the heart of Lebanon. You know, we have our assisted living, which has been there since 1994, and then our retirement community started in 2010, which by the end of this year we'll have 30 homes completed, which we're very excited about. We've got 2 more we're building, then they'll be coming up out of the ground here pretty quickly as we approach fall. So at the end of this year, we'll have all of those completed. We'll have a full house on both in both communities, which we're excited about.
And really, that is the completion of something that started a good while ago, probably before you even thought about doing what you're doing now.
Right. It was, 94. And it started really before that. Back in the 80s, there was a lot of talk about it. A lot of people gave money to start that ministry. And it really took off in 94 and just has continued to grow and has served a lot of folks over the years and has a wonderful tradition. And I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Can we expect something else to come along? Are there plans that are at least being discussed?
That's right. I appreciate you bringing that up. You know, we have a 5-year plan. We plan to, the assisted living is in pretty good shape, but, it was built in 94, so it needs a little touch up here and there, a little TLC. So we plan to remodel the assisted living next year over the next, 12 to 18 months, and then we plan over the next 5 years to build some senior apartments, independent living apartments. So it'll kind of be in between the homes and the assisted living. So about maybe 10 or 12 apartments, nice apartments on the backside of the assisted living, which I'm excited about. That's a few years off, but that's our vision, and that's where we're headed.
Okay. Well, we really hadn't discussed that before. Mm-hmm. I knew you had been thinking, what else can we do after we complete our retirement community? But this will be a different kind of retirement.
It'll be a little different retirement community. A lot of these communities around Lebanon, Wilson County, we have a lot of senior apartments, senior living apartments, and they're packed. A lot of folks don't want a home. They're not ready for assisted living, but they would like a nice, independent senior living apartment with all the things that come along with that, housekeeping, access to dining services. So we're looking at that over the next 5 years.
Well, that'll be something else for us
to talk about. We'll talk about it. Have to be here in 5 years to talk about it, Coleman.
You have had, I think, a larger room available in assisted.
We do. We have a large room available right now, and several folks have looked at that. So it takes a few months for people to get ready to move in, but we got one large room available. So if you're interested, stop by to see us. We'd love to show you that room. It comes with, of course, housekeeping services, laundry services, all your food and snacks provided. It's a great deal.
Right. And of course, if you haven't already, you in assisted living might be in your fairly immediate future, get on the waiting list.
Get on the waiting list. We have several folks on the waiting list who just say, look,
I ain't ready yet.
I'm not ready yet, but keep me on there and call me if a room's available. And so that's what we do. So we go down that list. Nobody's ready just yet, but they will be eventually. We all will be eventually needing those services. So If you're in need of a large room over the next few months, just give us a call. We'll have it for you ready.
You've talked a little bit about the gardening that is done. Of course, we're all into August now, and I guess you've had ripe tomatoes.
We've had a lot of fresh grown products that our residents bring in and use, and that garden is very popular in the back. They keep it well stocked, and it's getting hot now, so it's starting to die off, but.
The enthusiasm's waned.
It's kind of waning a little bit, yeah.
I can understand that.
They don't like to get out there in that hot sun too much.
Well, there's something. That first big tomato is somehow more important, or you feel different about it than you do the 120th.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Those fresh tomatoes are incredible. We do take them to farmers market. A couple times a year we'll take them out to Dudley's farm, and they go pick out some tomatoes, or we'll take them over just to different places, and they get to pick out different products, and they bring them back and we use them. So it's a fun time for all of us in the summer.
Well, and too, you've got that bus, so you don't have to stay at home every day all the time.
No, we're going to Miller's Grocery down in south of Murfreesboro on Thursday. We're taking a group down there. We travel all the time. We like to get out and do things.
I think you're having.
And I like to get out and do things. So I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it.
Okay, are you ready for a horse?
Yeah, I want to say hello. My daughter, she's going to go to UT on this weekend, so I'm taking her up there to Anna Dozier. I'm taking her up to we're taking her up to Knoxville this weekend, so we're excited about that. And then I saw Andy Willis, my buddy Andy Willis. I don't know if you know Andy or not, but he's fantastic. Andy and Don Willis. And I saw them last week, and they said they listened to you, so I wanted to say hello to particularly Andy and Don.
Okay, that's actually 3 horse.
That's 3. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I wanted to, I wanted to mention
Andy and Don a little bit.
Yeah, great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
Okay.
But have fun playing golf today. I know you said you were going to play golf.
You done spilled the beans here. I hope to. I hope I play.
That's going to be great. Sometimes it's going to be great weather.
Sometimes I'm just out.
Well, have fun.
All right. Thank you. Sean Dozier, Executive Director, Hearthside Senior Living. You can reach him at 615-443-1994. Okay. We are about 21 before the hour. Just a quick reminder here that WANT is now archiving every Coleman and Company show online. So you just go to WANTFM.com, scroll down the page a little and click on the link that says Details underneath Coleman and Company. It'll take you to a page with a link that says click here to listen to previous interviews. The shows are posted each weekday morning, about an hour after we get through here. Dr. Donna Wright, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Now, you're being archived.
Well, I think that's been...
You're being archived all the time.
Yeah, I could use that word many times in different ways, but yes.
Our Wilson County Director of Schools, Dr. Donna Wright, is with us this morning. We've really got a lot to talk about. I was kidding a little bit yesterday, but I said somebody that wanted to really be mean could just record all the mistakes they've heard me make over the years and put them together.
And don't think people don't do that.
that could be embarrassing, Hopefully they'll only do the good stuff. But how are you?
I am great.
Well, good. School has started.
School has started. My favorite time of year. Things are just rolling along smoothly as we continue to enroll students.
Continue to enroll. Well, a little problem this morning. Let's talk about that, a traffic thing.
Yes, and, that's one that we're trying to, telling people, please be patient, because when you have a backup in traffic, and particularly where the scene of this wreck right there at Hartman, we've got a tractor trailer that, I guess it was around 5:30 this morning, traffic's backed up well past almost to Linwood exit. And so all the ancillary roads are backed up as well, and school buses are caught in the backup. So we've made a point of making sure not only the schools are aware that there's going to be some late buses, but also parents that are trying to deliver their children to school. Right. So telling everyone, just be patient. We know about the wreck, and we're also going to be holding breakfast for the kids, too, that will need it. So.
But nothing bad about any school, but this is just a wreck on the interstate that slowed traffic down, which means buses and people taking their children to school are coming in late.
We're just asking for patience, because we're going to accommodate everyone, and it's not one of those things that you're going to be held tardy or whatever. We are very aware of what's occurring because every side road is backed up right now.
Yeah. Okay, you had a meeting last night.
Yes, we did.
You want to tell us about it? Good or bad? Good and bad?
It was a great meeting.
Right.
And and much of it because we recognized people last night for their contribution, not only to the school district but also to our students. And so it was a great night of recognition and celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And start off with David Wright. He, just a fixture, an icon, a Lebanon Blue Devil. I mean, you could just go on, and just a fine, fine gentleman. Well, last night.
A hard worker.
A work ethic second to none, and one that, and I've heard these stories over and over from different people that whenever there was a need, he was the first to step. What do you want? What do you need? Where do I need to be? And particularly if it was transporting students to ball games, whatever, he was there, and it didn't matter how far or how long it would take either. And so he retired last year, reluctantly. And if he could have gotten a pass from his doctor, he would have been right back there. And we're talking about close to 50 years.
Yeah.
And so last night we dedicated the transportation facilities in honor of David Wright.
Oh, that's great.
And again, for those people that know David, humble, just so humble, and somewhat taken aback and surprised, and just sort of just nodded his head. But I cannot think of anyone finer that again, students first and foremost, but Lebanon Blue Devils second, and one of the recognitions too is just once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil, and he was just that grin worth $1 million, when he smiled. So that was a much needed recognition, but just one more time that he's close to 50 years serving Wilson County Schools. And then another fixture, anyone that knows Big Ed Roberts in Watertown community. He retired a couple of years ago from Wilson County Schools. And talk about another incredibly hardworking individual that never seeks praise. And I use in the present tense. In fact, if anything, just get out of his way and let him do what he needs to do. He's a man of few words, unless it's talking about UT football. But last night, we recognized him and dedicated the athletic facilities in Watertown High School to Ed Roberts.
Well, that's great.
And simply because if any time that he is the one that he's mowing, cleaning up, fixing, standing back and looking at it, will not accept help from anyone because no one else will do the job that he would do, particularly if it's mowing. He's very particular about how he maintains those fields. And it's one that, again, his love for Watertown, love for Watertown schools, love for Watertown students. Yeah. And we recognized him last night, and all he did was just smile because that's Big Ed. And again, just a wonderful time to recognize. And then we had a recognition, and I think I mentioned it last month when I was here, as far as we've combined our TVOLS program, which is our virtual online school that's an incredible program where students, time and place are, irrelevant as far as how students can access programming. It's a regular school program accredited by the state of Tennessee. And we took our MAP, which is our alternative school, and consolidated that under a school number so that not only you have, whether it's students that, have, might have health issues, or we have a child that is a rodeo star, and so they have trouble going to a traditional school, so they access TVOLs to children that really good kids that have made stupid decisions and mistakes. And so we've consolidated that into a school program that we can serve more kids, make sure that they're getting a quality program. And should a student want to or elect to graduate from the new Barry Tatum Academy, they can do so now. And so last night, not only did we recognize and name the facility now with that consolidation, the Barry Tatum Academy, we recognized Judge Tatum and his impact and influence on the young people in Wilson County.
Well, that's great as well.
It is, and it's something that, many times people have this idea as far as an alternative school, behaviors and everything. But for many youngsters, that has been a salvation simply because they could not function well in a traditional large high school and would thrive in that environment. And so when we started looking at why can we not do that for those students that need a more individualized, more, centered on not only changing behaviors, but also to accommodate what they need to be successful in high school. And what we would do on the education or the academic side, Judge Tatum enforced and supported on the discipline side. And I've had too many students that would come to me to appeal the discipline, but would recite to me exactly what Judge Tatum would instruct them that they would have to do, how they would get there, how he would support them. And then when they would go back, they would be surprised because Judge Tatum remembered me.
Yeah.
He remembered me. And that is powerful in any child's life. And so that was a very, celebrated recognition last night. And again, a very humble man that I will have to tell, I'm going to tell the world right now, he tried to talk the school district out of naming it after him. But it was one with a committee that said hands down that we want to dedicate this to Judge Tatum.
Okay, Dr. Donna Wright here, Director of Schools. We got to take a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:49. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the lifetime brake pad guarantee with the purchase of a brake service. Replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning, Tina. I quickly moved this crash over to the side here on 40 westbound at Fessler's, where it's so heavy coming in through Hermitage. Donaldson. It's been crazy slow out in Wilson County this morning. Lebanon on 40 going westbound. Then right near the Hartman exit involving that truck. Bumper to bumper 65 southbound here at Trinity Lane. Around the neighborhood oil change will come to you either at work or at home to save you time and save you money. Call Around the Neighborhood Oil Change. It's pretty cool. Call 709-2645. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Head coach Mike Vrabel's in year number 2 with talent on defense.
It's intercepted. Kevin fires. Jarrell Casey. First John Landry with the sack.
Join us right here with the voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, and Coach Dave McGinnis.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota Exmart, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steve Moore Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Now you can get a great-looking cut in less time every time with an Exmark. The Mowers Landscape Pros trust 2-1 over the next best-selling brand of mowers. Right now, step up to Exmark with their newly redesigned Quest Zero-Turn Riders, the Exmark Radius, or go pro with the Exmark Laser Z, the most respected zero-turn mower in the business. Check them out today at Absolute Kubota, 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Coleman and Company, we thank you for joining us. Thanks to Dr. Donna Wright for making her monthly appearance here. Most of the time you get to come. Next time your school board meeting, which is usually on the first Monday of the month, that's Labor Day.
Labor Day.
So you're going to be meeting a week later, I believe.
Or we're going. Last night we decided that we're going to meet on August the 29th, which is a Thursday. Just simply because that following week is Labor Day week. And then the following week, I'm required to be at a state superintendent's meeting, and does that throw your schedule off?
We have to change our plans a little bit. We'll do that off the air.
Okay, we can do that.
But we got to have you or somebody here to talk about school board meetings.
We'll be here.
Anything else from last night's meeting we need to talk about?
From last night's meeting, there was, I updated everyone on the start of school. The first 2 days were extraordinary. Everyone, we're always in anticipation as far as what's going to happen with increased traffic, new start times and how that would flow. And to a person, when principals started checking in with me, giving their updates, the smoothest start and the smoothest dismissal that anyone could remember. We had a handful, when I say a handful, less than 5 complaints that came directly to us. And one person in particular was disturbed that school had already started again, and which sort of disrupted that routine, going to and from wherever they might be going. And they let us know that it was a horrible situation. And we somewhat apologize that, we educate kids, and in that we have to transport, and we also allow at the high school students to drive. We had one incident where a little first grader, decided he didn't want to be a car rider. He picked out a bus that he liked better and decided he was going to get on that yellow bus. And so, but we were able to capture him before he made his grand adventure. And we had, as far as 231 up around Carroll, Oakland, at the dismissal on Friday, we had a backup there, but that was something that the principal and his team studied over the weekend to make sure that when it occurred, didn't hear anything, disruptive yesterday. But I guess the thing that as we continue looking at Monday through Wednesday of last week, Lebanon High School, I'll use that for an example, enrolled 99 additional students from Monday through Wednesday of last week. By Thursday, we had enrolled 58 additional students district-wide. And then last count that I received last night about 7 o'clock from our individual that takes care of an updating enrollment, there was an additional 128 students enrolled in the district. So we have now moved across the line as far as 19,000 students. And we also know that there will be another additional bump, particularly that week after Labor Day, as people are moving and transitioning into Wilson County.
But overall, you're off to a good start.
Oh, off to a very good start. Yes, we opened Gladeville Middle School 2 weeks ago, and they opened with 860 students on that first day, and the capacity there will be right at 1,500. But even with opening a new school, you always have hiccups of some kind as far as people trying to figure out the new system and how you're going to roll through. And Stewart's Ferry is a heavily traveled road. We've got that big loop around, so once you make that turn, you're going back around the school before you even drop off. It was smooth. It was so smooth. And much of it, I have to attribute to the principal. She had a practice day the day before school opening, so parents could come in after hours, and she had about 200 families show up and do a drive-through and practice. And I thought, how creative is that? Yeah. And then we had another principal, West Wilson Middle School, that's right on South Mount Juliet Road or North Mount Juliet Road, and he did a video going through the car line, which he's the one that's narrating and showing how they were going to do a double line, getting off the main road, doing a wraparound loop, how they would be dismissed, how they would pick up, and making it very, very simple. So I thought I would try it too, and so I got in the parent line, and it worked very well. I followed instructions.
I guess one of the things we need to at least mention here, you're waiting for the county commission to approve a budget, and
yes,
I guess you've asked for what you feel like you've got to have, and they are trying to decide how much and how they're going to fund it.
Well, it's that delicate dance that we go through every year at this time, and I say that respectfully because it's serious business. It's one that, again, we all want to be good stewards of not only taxpayer dollars, but as far as what that return on investment. What are we giving in return? So yes, Budget Committee met last week. We presented our budget, which is a status quo budget. Other than looking at the additional growth, that's what we presented. They approved. We also, again, the process as far as what we need, was accepted, not accepted by the Budget Committee, which means that it will then go to full commission, and that's really, I wouldn't say it's creating tension, but it's one that when we present that needs assessment, it's over and beyond what that status quo budget provides. Mm-hmm. And we're at a point now that there are some critical needs that need to be addressed. And we very well know on our side that there is no appetite for a property tax increase, which many times, people will sort of point the finger at us saying, you're increasing our taxes. We don't do that. All we can do is make a recommendation to county commission that this is what we need, and it's up to them to whether to fund it or not. And at the top of the list right now are our teacher raises that are needed. And it's one that, as I've shared multiple times, not only here, but also in front of commission, it's become a competitive field. And I refer to us as being the farm league. And what we're doing is training quality teachers, and surrounding districts are more or less putting in a bid. and they can drive that price up. I mean, Metro Nashville, $10,000 to $12,000 in special ed, languages, upper division math and science. And, and you can't blame particularly young teachers that's an opportunity. And we can keep saying that quality of life is much better here, but that's not always going to, weigh as heavily as far as seeing that increase.
But to some extent, that expression is true that we are a farm league.
We're a farm league. I mean, I no other way to look at it with that sports analogy. But the thing is that, our teachers are paid well. But the thing is that when any market economy, it starts driving up the supply and demand, the pipeline for teachers, as far as preparation programs, are drying up. And so with that sort of puts another edge on it. And then when you start looking at the premium fields, which again is special education, languages, upper division math and science, specialty areas, then and I've never really seen this in the field of education before, but there's a market demand right now, and we must be competitive with that. And so we brought forward that the teacher raise, it's right at $3.9 million. And looking at how we can spread that out as far as a 0 to 5 at 1,000, but our 20-plus year teachers, giving them a $5,000 bump because, again, they're getting performance pay, but that's what they've earned based on, meeting the demands as far as in the classroom and the results that we're seeing, not only in evaluations, but in assessments.
Well, I got just over a minute left this morning. A quick update, I guess, on the new building, the new high school in Mount Juliet. Help me out, the name.
Green Hill High School. Yes. I mean, if you've traveled down Highway 70 anytime, the walls are going up, the second floor is going up. Again, it's just amazing the work that's being done. We're holding our breath and hopeful that we're going to be able to open by August 2020. But this has been an incredibly wet year. We're looking at, in fact, putting some stats together right now to see how many days were lost to weather. And part of that being, and we expressed this to the board last night, usually we complain about the rock in Wilson County, the lunar landscape. But when you're building, that can also be a blessing as far as the stability of what you're building on top of it. And that incredibly beautiful piece of property up there, we had to dig 25 feet through dirt before we hit rock. And so with rain and dirt, that created some issues, but progress is being made. We are hopeful that we're going to hit that August 2020 because we need a school to give relief to the three big high schools as they continue to grow.
Well, thanks for being with us. Our time is up, and we'll see you next time, whenever that is. And
thank you.
All right.
I'll be here.
Dr. Donna Wright, Director of Schools. That's it for a Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.